Welcome to this RapidRep tutorial. Within the next 12 minutes we will see most of the functions that you need to know about when using the Report Runner application. We are using the Report Runner application in order to create reports which perform calculations, which extract data from data sources, and to present them in Excel workbooks. As with any other RapidRep application, we need to log on to a repository using a username and password first. And if everything works fine, we will see the user interface of the Report Runner application in a couple of seconds. The user interface is organized in 3 sections. On the left hand side there is the navigation section. Here we find a system view called Report Definitions, and there is a number of report definitions and versions which have been created and released by the RapidRep Designer, which is the integrated development environment of RapidRep. The numbers in brackets behind each version indicates the number of reports which have been created based on that specific version. For example, we find 21 reports based on version 3 of this report definition, and if we click on that version, we see these 21 reports in the report list section, which opens on the right hand side. And if we now click on one of the reports, we find the details for this report organized in a couple of tabs. Now we want to create a new report, and to do that we go to the navigation area on the left hand side, and if we don't know which report definition we want to choose for that new report, we go to the folder symbol and can find a description of the report definition we are interested in. As there might be different versions for a report definition, we can also go to the symbol of the version, and there might also be a small text describing the specific version of the report definition. So now we want to create a new report definition based on version 4. We see there is already one report, and we now go to an empty area of the report list section and open the context menu and choose Create Report. Now we can provide a name for the report. In this case, I give it the name My Sales Demo Report Number 1. In the content section, we can select and deselect the areas of the report. The list that is provided here depends of course on the chosen report definition. And in the lower section we can provide an optional description. We finish this dialog by pressing the Create button. We find our new report at the top of the report list. It is also marked with a star symbol in the status column. The report requires one calculation parameter called here, and we can pick the value from a drop-down list. It's of type integer, it's mandatory, and we find some other information regarding this parameter. We go back to our report in the report list and open the context menu and choose the action called Calculate Report. As this report depends on data in a data warehouse, we are asked to authenticate first. We do this by pressing the Login button, and now RapidRep executes all the information stored in the report definition. It's now finished. Please note that the parameter can now not be changed anymore. In the Calculation tab we find a couple of details regarding the calculation process. For example, when did the calculation start and end, and some log messages. The tab Rendered Reports is still empty. That's clear because we haven't created a workbook yet. We can do this by selecting the report in the report list and choosing the action Render Report from the context menu. We confirm the next dialog by pressing the OK button, and now RapidRep populates the template with the calculation results. Both layout and content of this report only depends on the report definition and on the chosen calculation parameters. We close the workbook, and now we see the Excel workbook in the Rendered Reports tab. RapidRep stores the whole workbook in the repository, and we can now open it again with Excel. We can delete the Excel workbook, and we can also apply the 4 eyes principle on that report. In the Connections tab, we find a list of all connections that have been used in the calculation process. The Properties tab holds a list of general properties regarding the report and the underlying report definition. And in the last tab, we see a list of user-defined properties that have been defined in the underlying report definition. This tab is very similar to the Calculation Parameters tab, but user-defined properties can never impact the calculation results. They are used to organize reports and can be used to define custom views, which we will see later on in this tutorial. We can select values, for example by selecting them from a drop-down list, as in this case for the privacy rating, and for the property recipients of the report we can also provide a value manually. We save the changes by pressing the Apply Changes button, and now we have seen everything that is needed to create a report, to parameterize a report, and to export the results into an Excel workbook. We can use any report as the basis for new reports by pressing the Clone Report in the context menu of the report we want to clone. We may provide a name and an optional description here, and in this case we want to create 4 copies. Now we see these 4 new reports at the top of the report list, indicated by a star symbol. And now we want to change the calculation parameter of the first report to 2013. We save them by Apply Changes. We can of course repeat that process for other reports as well. We can select multiple reports at once. We do this with all 4 reports now. And now we want to do the calculation and the rendering at once by pressing the action Calculate and Render Reports. And in this case we want to deselect the analysis sheet from the calculation result, and we do not want to see the Excel workbooks after rendering. After a few seconds the process is finished, and by pressing the Delete Reports item we can delete the reports from the list. So far we have only seen a system view called Report Definitions, which organizes our reports by name and version of a report definition. There is another concept in RapidRep called User-Defined Views, which allows us to organize reports in a completely different manner. Here we see already 2 user-defined views, and we would like to create a new view by pressing the Create button. First we provide a name for the user-defined view, which has to be unique in the repository, in this case my sales view. And in the filter section we need to tell RapidRep which reports we are interested in. We press the Add button and we want to use the criteria report definition name, and we say that we are only interested in reports with the report definition name equal to sample sales demo. We can add an additional condition here, for example the report creator, the person who has created the report, should be for example RapidRep. So now we go to the next tab, the view levels. Here we need to define the different levels of the tree for the user-defined view. For the first level we press the Add button, and in the property type column we select report parameter, and in the property name we choose the calculation parameter year. We press the Edit button to change some settings. For example, we want to have the reports ordered in descending order, and we would like to see how many reports applied to this level. We add another level, level 2. We would like to see a value of a custom field, the user-defined properties that we have already seen, and we want to start with the privacy rating first. And in the third level of our custom tree, we would like to see the user-defined property recipients of the report. Finally, we provide a description in the description field. My first custom view, and we press the OK button. Now it appears in the list of our user-defined views, and press the OK button. Now we want to use our new custom view. We go to the navigation area and choose Open User-Defined View, and now the My Sales view appears below the Report Definitions view. On the first level we see the calculation parameter year in descending order. So there is 8 reports where this parameter is set to 2013 and 10 reports where the calculation parameter year has the value 2012. On the second level we see the reports corresponding to the privacy rating, and on the third level we can find the reports organized by the recipient of the report. Now we are at the end of our tutorial. If you need further information, please have a look at the very detailed reference manual that you can find in the help menu, or have a look at further YouTube videos on this channel. I wish you much success using the RapidRep Report Runner application.